Hello, this is the second part of going through the vendor selections and budget challenge and going through and picking all the expenses. So up to this point, we've done cable, cell phone, credit card, utilities, renter's insurance, and student loan. Notice how they're in green. So right now, again, we are going to have to go back and select auto insurance. So everyone who drives has to have insurance. It's a law. So again, you're going to have a couple different scenarios with this. So when we talked about, again, premium, this is going to be your bill. So you've got one that has a higher bill than the other. The bill frequency is semi-annual. In the game, we're only going to pay this once. So really, it's about a $30 difference at the most, 27 in this case. So what do they mean? Why is there a difference in the two? So if you pick on the first option, and it's going to come up and it's going to give you some details down below. It's going to tell you when it's going to be due. It's going to talk about late payment fee, a return check, but the big thing here is the insurance deductible. And that's something, again, we've not talked about. So when you hear that deductible, that is something that you pay out of your pocket. So let's just say that you have a damage to your vehicle, $5,000, and it doesn't take much to do $5,000 worth of damage to a car. You pay $350 and then the insurance company pays the rest. So again, that whole concept of sharing the financial burden on this. So you pay a little bit more for a deductible of $350. So now what's the other one? The other plan do? So if I choose option number 2, this is the one that has a lower bill, so it's $27 less, but the deductible is $550, so it's a $200 difference more. So you pay out of your pocket $550 versus $350, and then the insurance company would pay the remainder of that. So it's sort of, where do you want to balance things? If there's an accident, okay, you're going to be paying more in this one here. And again, with the game, you only play for a couple months, so I don't think a $27 difference is that big a deal in case there would be an accident, where you have to replace the vehicle or if it's stolen. Again, your deductible is going to be lower. So whenever you hear that word deductible, you're thinking about what you're paying out of your own pocket, and then the insurance company pays the remainder. Now, typically when you do file a claim in real life, this premium will go up. And again, if you had an accident, it's your fault and you have to pay for it. You might have one freebie, but then after that it starts going up. So you will pay more premium in real life, but not in this game. So again, my choice, I'm going to pay a little bit more just to make sure I'm covered with some things here. Going back to your auto loan, again, loan payments will be about the same with this. Again, I don't know all the details. I don't know how much we're borrowing, how long it is. I'm just looking at the monthly payment right here. So there's about a $9 difference between the two. Why is that? So if I go to Zippy's auto loan option number 1, okay, 1 is a credit union. So my late fee percentage is 10%. One-time membership fee is $25. So I've got to pay a membership fee to join the credit union, $25. The interest rate is 3.25%. So we want something low here. Term, again, that's how many months or how many payments we're going to make. So that's 5 years we're making that payment in real life. So if my rate is significantly lower here compared to the bank, I probably would, or the other option, I would do that. I'm assuming option number 2 is maybe with the bank, which it is. A little bit higher on the monthly payment. The membership fee is 4.25%. So I'm getting a little bit better loan rate, not significant. Again, that's why you're getting about that $9 difference per month. So again, either would be fine. If you plan to do the credit union one, you're going to have to pay $25 when you do your first payment. So with that said, if we're only doing this probably for 2 months max, I probably would stick to the bank loan. Yeah, it's $9 more per month, so $18 together for 2 months. It's still cheaper than $25. In real life, I probably would stick with option number 1, so I get the lower monthly payment, even if I pay that one-time $25 fee. So in my game, I'm going to choose option number 2, just to plan accordingly with this. Rent. So you have two choices with this. Either you're going back to a 2-bedroom apartment where you're splitting with one roommate, or you're splitting with a 3-bedroom roommate with 2 other roommates. Again, rent amount will be a little bit less for the 3-bedroom versus the 2. Not not significant. I know before in past games you've lost your roommate and then you're stuck paying more. If you're splitting this between 3 people, again, your payment's going to be less. And that's probably where I would direct you with this. Now, security deposit. This is another factor that people have to understand. When you're getting your own apartment, typically you have to pay upfront, typically like the first month rent in advance, plus a security deposit. So the security deposit is in case you trash it and break things, the landlord can go back and repair that. Now, when you move out, if it's your apartment's in good shape, you will get the majority of your security deposit back. You'll get it all back, or you'll get a portion of it back, depending upon how the apartment is and, is it in good shape or not. So with this scenario, skimming through this here, and again, it talks about a lot of different things that, basically when you have a 3-bedroom apartment where with 3 friends, you're going to be probably paying less per month. So again, that's sort of the scenario with this. There's probably a higher deposit or monthly or security deposit on the 3-bedroom because the value of the property is higher than this for the 2-bedroom apartment. So that's why that $550 is higher. But you only pay that once. So again, when you're looking at this, maybe in real life that the 3-bedroom would be better. The utilities looks like will be a little bit less for a 3-bedroom because you're sharing it between 3 people. Okay, that would be the only other option. So let me choose option number 1 to see the details on that to make sure I'm thinking this through. So I have a 2-bedroom apartment. You're responsible for $600. Your roommate's responsible for $600. It will tell you the first month rent amount is $729, and where are they coming up with that is because you are moving in. Does it give you a date when you move in? Because typically you don't move in on the first of every month. So you're going to have a prorate that you're going to go back and pay for this. Let me look in the details here when you are going to move in here. New details here, but essentially it appears to me that you are moving in on a mid-month. Here you go, first rent invoice issue. So 10/15. So I'm assuming it's probably going to be mid-month. So yeah, it's $600 a month, but you have to pay a little bit more the first month because you're paying that security deposit plus the prorated amount. So that's what you're paying for the first month for the 2-bedroom. If I go back to the 3-bedroom, split 3 ways, $500 per month on a monthly basis. You're paying $824 the first month. So you pay a little bit more the first month, but then your next month will be cheaper. Again, not a right or wrong answer. Probably in real life, I'd rather have more roommates than not. In this case, I'm going to choose option number 2, leave it at that. And again, I pay a little bit more because the security deposit's higher, but I pay less per month. And again, if I was doing this for a year in the long run, that would pick up. In the game, I don't think it really matters too much because you're only paying this for a couple times, maybe 3 times at the max. Again, not too worried about this. I think either would be fine. Okay, your bank. So this is the last item here that I want to go through in this video. The option for the bank is, what kind of checking account do you want, and will you be covered if you have not enough money in your account? So they have 4 options here. So the non-sufficient funds fee are the same, so no big deal. Overdraft service fee, which I think is important to have. Again, this one has a fee where it's per transaction. Some of these other ones down below here, there's no fee. And I think this first one it's not an option. You do not have an overdraft per use fee because you're not covered on that. So basically you're going to bounce checks. So that is sort of a downfall on that one here. If I look at the last two, there right now I'm looking at this minimum balance. So this basic checking with free overdraft protection. Both have that overdraft protection free, but here's the kicker on this. You have to keep on option number 4, $400 at all times in your account. If you dip below that, then you're going to be fine. If in this case, in option number 3, if you dip below 250, you're going to be fine. Not really a benefit. If you're doing option 4, 400, you're getting a little bit of interest. You probably don't earn that much interest. I would almost say that, option 3 and 4 is, I think, is going to be tough. I mean, I don't think you're going to keep $400 in your account. 250, maybe. I don't know. I've had problems in the past with that when I tried it. You have a lot more flexibility with option number 2. So this is no minimum balance, same as option number 1, but you have a with overdraft protection in option 2. So what happens is the overdraft protection in option number 2, every time you utilize that, is going to have a $10 per use fee. That's not so bad if you don't plan on making any mistakes. I think option number 1 is very risky because, again, you're probably paying like $40, $50 for a return check, and that will become very expensive. So if you do option number 2, you're going to have a $3.95 service fee. I think that's monthly. I'll check on that here in a minute, and a $10 per use fee. So again, really not much of a difference on that. So let me just check out option number 2 here. Let's take a look at this. Okay, so no minimum balance with overdraft protection. Talks about a 2-day processing window for online bill pay, and I'm going to talk about that in another video. Again, overdraft protection is where, again, you link back to a savings account, or in this case, I think it goes back to the Visa. In this case, again, you have pretty much everything calculated here. I'm going to go with option number 2 with this. My recommendation for you is either try 2 or 3. Again, 3 can be a little tricky with the 250 minimum balance at all times. I'd rather pay sort of as I go and hope that I don't make mistakes. But there'd be in real life, you'd have to have overdraft protection. You'd be foolish not to have that option in your account. And I know my credit union, you don't have to have a minimum balance. And I have coverage on that. I'm limited on how many I can do per month. So again, not really a big deal, but you need to investigate that. So in this case, I would choose either option 2 or 3. If you're doing 3, you've got to keep 250 at all times. All right, so that takes care of finishing up my vendor selections for all my expenses and for my bank. I'm going to split out the next video for my job and explain that with your income in one other separate video. Let me know if you have questions.